Right now, somewhere in a zoo, a chimpanzee is sitting quietly, watching the world go by. It has hands almost identical to yours. It feels emotions you would recognise. It mourns the dead. It plays. It remembers faces for decades. And if you could trace its family tree back far enough, you would find your family tree waiting there too. Because 6 million years ago, that chimpanzee's ancestor and your ancestor were the same animal. This is the story of that animal and of everything that happened between now and then. Welcome to the Ancestor's Tale, a journey backwards through time, all the way to the very beginning of life on Earth. We start here with our closest living relative and with a question that seems simple but changes everything once you really think about it. Where did we come from? Most people assume evolution means humans descended from chimps, but that's not what happened. The chimp didn't become us. We didn't come from the chimp. Something older gave rise to both of us, and then the two lines separated. One became the chimpanzee, one became us. Scientists call that shared ancestor the ancestor, the last individual whose descendants eventually split into two completely different futures. And the ancestor we share with the chimpanzee lived roughly 6 million years ago in the forests of Central Africa. We have never found its bones. It left no tools, no trace we can point to, but we know with absolute certainty it existed. Because here we are. And because the chimpanzee is here too, and the mathematics of our DNA puts the moment of our separation right into that window of ancient time. Picture where it lived, a forest that covered much of Central Africa, vast, humid, ancient. Our ancestor moved through the canopy, probably more comfortable in trees than on the ground. It lived in a social group, it communicated, it remembered, it had hands. It was not human, but somewhere inside it, the instructions that would one day build a human being were already written. Then something changed. A river shifted course, a forest dried out and split in two. A population of these animals found themselves separated, cut off from each other's geography, and over thousands of generations, the two groups began to change in different directions. On one side, the lineage that would become the chimpanzee, on the other, the lineage that would become us. 6 million years? It sounds enormous, but here is a way to feel how close it actually is. Imagine standing in a line with your mother, and her mother stood behind her, and her mother's mother behind her, going back and back, generation after generation. How many people would be standing in that line between you and the ancestor you share with every chimpanzee alive today? About 300,000. That is the population of a mid-sized city. Standing in a line, stretching back through time, that is all that separates you from the moment your story and the chimpanzee's story become two different stories. In the scale of life on Earth, that is almost nothing. And yet, look at what happened in that time. We learned to walk upright, we developed language, we made fire, we built cities, painted caves, wrote music, and launched rockets. All of that in what amounts to the final breath of geological time. Now look at the chimpanzee again. The chimp has been evolving for exactly the same length of time we have. It is just as far from the ancestor as we are. It went its own way, adapted to its own world, became its own extraordinary thing. It is our cousin, the closest cousin any human being has, and like all cousins, we share a grandparent we never got to meet. The DNA tells this story with remarkable precision. Humans and chimpanzees share around 98.7% of their genetic code. Every physical and mental difference between us, upright posture, complex language, abstract thought, civilization itself, lives inside just 1.3% of the genome. And here is the part that stops people cold. Much of that difference has nothing to do with new genes we developed. It is about timing, about which genes get switched on, and when and for how long during development. We carry almost the same instruction manual as a chimpanzee, we just read it differently. There is a theory, compelling, still debated, that humans are essentially apes who stayed young. Our rounded skulls, our insatiable curiosity, our long childhoods, in other great apes these are features of infants. We kept them into adulthood. Evolution found a shortcut. Rather than build something completely new, it simply slowed something down. 6 million years ago, an animal sat in an African forest with no idea what it was about to become. It had no concept of what would split from it, what would grow from it, what futures it was quietly carrying inside its cells. But here is what is extraordinary. One of its descendants, sitting somewhere right now, maybe on a sofa, maybe on a train, looking back across 6 million years and found it. That is what we are doing. That is this series. Next time we go deeper into a time when Earth was shared with creatures that were almost human, close enough to seem familiar, different enough to be unsettling. We were not alone, and that story is darker and stranger and more remarkable than anything you've been taught. The journey has only just begun.